Okay. Would you like your music played?
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
It's fireworks. You guys can research it on like YouTube or Apple Music. It should pop up.
Also vorhin.
Thank you. The memories come back again. I can never decide if they're good or bad. Child sees in black and white, right? And yet, child though I was, I remember everything feeling all mixed up. Which category does mixed fall into? Maybe I won't be able to sort these memories. Maybe I shouldn't have tried to sort them at all. Life is all mixed up though, isn't it? Maybe this is the way it's meant to be. As these sights, sounds, smells, feelings, even people flash through my mind again. I feel settled.
Thank you.
Kind of feels like something you might like hear from a movie. Really, I really like I feel like it kind of the poem and the music kind of, I don't know if it's our contrast each other in a really cool way. I like the thoughts and the questions that you added, as it's like kind of uncertain. And at the end, through the uncertain, that kind of reminds me a little bit of what we talked about this morning in our time, and kind of like walking by faith, and kind of like how you don't know what's ahead, but you're settled through the mix, or the busyness of life. But I like this a lot.
And also, it's an unusual type of poem for you, because I feel like yours and Haley's are normally very scenic, and I would say a lot more artistic trending. I really appreciate that this is, I would say, falling into the category of, I guess, more personal introspection. I always appreciate getting to know more how people think and the kind of things that kind of are on their heart, and this especially applies to someone like you who I really don't know all that much about. I think, as I say with a lot of them, I think that the questions are a very good thing, because I think that uncertainty is very, very natural in this entire process. There are a couple of lines I'll have to ask you about, but I want to have other people still have the opportunity to ask some questions. But there's some very good questions you have in here, not only asking yourself, but I think as often with these introspection poems go, you can also, the reader can apply them to themselves, right? And so I think writing the poem in such a way that it can do both is a good thing to do. But overall, I really appreciate that it was kind of different from the style that you normally do.
Yeah. No. I also noticed with the lack of capitalization, it's very much, I feel like this is how thoughts are to me, where, you can have a kind of flowing thought and then something choppy. And that's just how the brain works. So it makes me curious, how quickly or slow did you write this? Because I feel like this is an easier thing to lose if you spend a long time over it. How long did it take to formulate this?
Not too long. I didn't really know what I wanted to write about, but I was looking through some older songs, some of the older songs, and I listened to it, and it felt very nostalgic.
Yeah.
And so that's where the idea for the poem came from. And I listened to the song like 3 to 5 times, and by that time the poem was done.
Yeah, no, I relate to that a lot. Along with the choppy thoughts, very much as well. If I don't know what to write, I can pull up all my music I don't listen to quite anymore, but all of my older stuff. and my mind will go back to that place. And I don't even know what that place is, but I'll have it'll direct something out. It's very interesting to see, but I very much like the meaning of the poem as well. I also have categorized memories and kind of just decided by the end, they just happen to me, good or bad, and I can learn from it all.
It's kind of funny because I kind of shifted mine a little bit, but my first poem that I was gonna write was literally just about the memory itself and remembering something all the time. I thought it was kind of interesting. But one thing that sticks out to me about your poem is I feel hope. Especially the song, when you're reading it, it's almost like you have this deep hope for something that even through all the mixed emotions and all the things that you feel, there's still hope there and excitement, even though there's confusion. So that's what I really thought with the song and your emotions and the poem.
It's funny, when I first read this poem, I was picturing fireworks. And I think that's really cool, because the child sees in black and white, right? And I was imagining all these colors. And I just thought that was a cool image, because you're just seeing it all, and you're not really defining it as one thing or the other. You're just kind of taking it in. And it's loud and overwhelming, but it's also beautiful.
Yeah, the fireworks imagery fits really well with this. I was trying to match things up when I read a little bit at first with the song and the song's title and the poem. But it's making a lot more sense now, especially hearing some other thoughts. You, kind of like what some other people have already said, you are finding a settlement and not needing to categorize your experience anymore. So that's obviously something you kind of having moved out of childhood, as you described, a child seeing things in black and white, which is, for the most part, very true. And with the fireworks imagery, it is, I can't even think of it from the perspective of a little person or a child. It is actually a very overwhelming experience because, yeah, it's loud and can be really scary, but from the point of view you're looking at it, and maybe it's overwhelming because you can't really grasp it. There's a lot going on, and it's difficult to wrap your head around. It's difficult to put in boxes, if you will. And so, in a way, especially as you've grown older, you're actually beginning to experience life, if you will, as a fireworks show. Not that it's all exciting and flashy and colorful per se, but it is overwhelming, just like fireworks are, in the sense that it's becoming more and more difficult for you to categorize things, for you to make sense of things, if you will. And what's really special about what you're writing here, especially with that very last line, is that instead of it being something that's causing you to run away in fear or curl up in a ball somewhere, it's actually bringing you to a place of settlement instead of opposition and remaining simply unsettled. There's a bit of a tension there, because I think your poem does show mostly unsettlement, but not an unsettlement that loops on itself, but an unsettlement that is settling at the same time.
Yeah, you ask questions during the beginning. The child sees in black and white, right? But the poem doesn't become revolving around that. By the end, you have moved past. Yeah, no, I like the flow because at the beginning it's like I can never decide for good or bad. So like you're trying to rationalize everything, and then it steps even farther back from that, and it's down to yourself. A child is in black and white. Now you're rationalizing yourself. You've separated the memories. You're breaking it down, trying to get to the core of it. But by the end, settling.
I was going to say, actually, notice even in the lines of the questions you asked, there's kind of a shift in the direction those take. It's kind of cool. A child sees in black and white, right, is like one of those self-doubting questions, you know? And then you switch to which category does mixed fall into? Well, that's more of a genuine curiosity, more of a neutral, right? There's not a doubt there.
Yeah.
But then you end it with, life is all mixed up though, isn't it? And that is more of like a hopeful reassurance, even more than like a curious question or a self-doubt. And so you start from these questions of doubt and move on to this neutral curiosity, and then you end with this kind of hopeful encouragement in a way. And I think that's kind of cool because it very much correlates even with the ending of the poem. I don't know if you did that intentionally or not.
Probably not.
No, but I think I think it shows even the sincerity in which I think, like Corbin was saying, that you wrote the poem. It shows the very natural course your mind took. And so even in that, I can see, in a way, how your heart operated in writing this.
Yeah.
How you did start in that place, and then where you ended up as that thought concluded.
Yeah,
It's really cool.
It is very fun because you said you didn't know what to write about, and then the music made you nostalgic. So this was that flow chart. That's why I was pointing out the lack of like capitalization and stuff. But you know, there's still punctuation marks because that's just the communication of it.
Yeah.
I was like, that's why I was like, this is really cool. And I was like, how long did it take to write this? Because I know if I were to write something like that and then agonize trying to make it better, I would lose that soul of it.
Yeah, whenever I write a poem, it's always in one sitting. Like, I feel like if I try to go back and edit it, if I try to go back and edit it, it loses some of like
Yeah.
the substance that I first put into it or something. I don't
I
know.
think, yeah, you are absolutely true about that.
Yeah.
My spelling's too bad, so I can't do that.
Yeah.
If there is no one else, you can pick the next person.
I don't know who's all read their poems.
Who has not gone? Everybody raises their
Let's do Judith.
Oh boy.
It's time.
I'm nervous.
You want the rarest one?
I didn't even do it this week because I just couldn't.
And then that's the or
I tried something new with this poem, so if it's really strange, just yeah, forgive me for that. I tried to do something a little different.
It's called what?
My seed.
So,
Well, it's like an orchestra.
we need to really agree. How loud do you want the music? Because I feel like for my poem, the music
You also have to skip to like the 2-minute mark.
Wow. Like the 2-minute mark?
Let's just go to the 2-minute mark. Go to the 2-minute. It's right when the lyrics end and the instrumentals begin. Yeah, that's good. Then you can pause it there. Okay, well, I tried something new. I kind of tried to line up my poem to go with the lyrics. So there might be parts where like you can't hear me or you can't hear the song and it's just confusing mess. So I apologize. I was really nervous writing this and I tried my best. So forgive me if it's weird.
Great.
Thank you. Okay, you can play.
I'm gonna play it.
Thank you. In a heart of concrete, there was a patch of soil still fertile. And there you were, a tiny seed within the weeds. Darkness was your dirt, suffering was your growth. Bitterness was your shell. Death is your birth. Watered by tentative hands, protected by frail walls, housed by an empty heart. And yet, you grew on. What do I know about your life? How can I recreate what I've never known? All I know is that I must keep you thriving. If nutrients are what you lack, then I will water you with every drop of blood that I have. Our road has not been an easy path. My absent heart cannot ever change the fact that you are my most precious task. The single thread that can never be cut entwines us both from beginning to end. My cherished seed sprouting at last.
Very good. Thank you.
Actually, it goes really well with being the words.
That was very much the intent.
Like, I don't know what she's saying, but like, it just flows.
I have the song there if anybody cares to listen to the lyrics after, but the lyrics are very tender to me. The context is, I'll give context and we can have discussion more, but it's just, the song itself is kind of about motherhood in a way, and sacrificing for a child in a difficult environment. And I sent the song to my mom because I really liked it, and she related it to actually the novelette, The Little Prince, if anybody knows about that. But it's in regards to a seed and nourishing it in a desolate environment and giving anything you can to see it prosper. And I see that very much with the seed that was planted in my heart. That's all the context it really needs.
I have staff and I'm really sorry. It's quite a
It's okay.
down, but it's such a beautiful poem.
Thank you.
I'm just trying to not be frustrated. It's nobody's fault.
Yeah, no, it's
Doesn't know
okay.
any better.
Just kind of wondered why you came today.
No, I didn't say anything, so. I don't have like a lot to say other than, I mean, this is a very beautiful poem, and I see what you were trying to portray. I love the beginning and the how you describe a tiny seed within the weeds, and how that's not just because of the circumstance. It's not the circumstance is not what really matters. And I definitely see the love of a mother seeing something that they can't necessarily change for their child, but they'll do everything they can. And the words at the end of the song, very, very well written, very beautiful, and you did really well. It paired really well with how you were reading.
Thank you. The words at the end were so tenderly, I kind of just wanted to edit them minorly and put them into my
Yeah.
poem. That's just that. It really is a beautiful analogy.
I'm excited to listen to the full song.
It's quite a beautiful visual novel.
I don't know where to start when I'm talking about it, but the beginning with like, I very much know that, because you've heard me talk about like the double think before, like I try to understand things because I know the opposite is true, so I have to know this is true. And just the beginning, the second paragraph is very much what I call to myself like drag strength, where you don't have helpful or nourishing things to live off of, but you survive anyways. And it's, you know, it's, I call it spiteful to myself, but it doesn't feel spiteful in this, where it's, you're fighting to go on. And then by the second, with like nurturing, and it brings up like, what do I know about your life? How do I recreate what I've never known? But, you know, giving everything you can, because even if you've never experienced that tenderness before, you, in a sense, you know what you lack. You know what you wanted, or at least, you know, what you looked for. And you can give that to someone without having ever experienced it. That is an incredibly close to heart thing for me.
Yeah, that's a beautiful. I think that actually is very much in line even with the original intent of the song. Even with my experience, I think it really is. In my life, there was learning about the love of the Father, and how actually a lot relates to the way that a father loves a child. And that is something that just the difficult circumstances is really hard for me to quantify. And so I recently have just been grappling with that idea of like, how do I go about doing this? How do I love you in a way that I don't even know how love looks? And yeah.
I think my father very much liked this poem. Because very much how I know, it's a great way to put it. I know my father very intimately. As an individual, I barely know. We have had very little time to talk, but through his actions. Because I do know he took basically everything he got from his parents as reverse psychology. He was belted and coerced. Everything you could do to a kid to harm them happened to him. So he completely just got out of that situation. So when he had kids, like, he did his best. At the end of the day, the relationship fell through. I didn't have a good mother figure. But that was, I don't blame him too much for that. He did not have something, he did not know a successful relationship or a caring and nurturing situation to bring kids into. But very much in like the, you know what you are lacking. He's gave, and it is giving everything he can for me and Carter. And this poem, I think, you would probably make him cry if you read this.
Corbin, what's really beautiful about that? I think you understand this type of love better than I do. Because you want to know what Tim told me about a father's love? It's understanding how you love your dad is understanding why he does what he does. And it sounds to me like you are very in tune with why your father does what he does. And you love him because of that. And that's very beautiful.
Thank you.
Because that, I think, is exactly how you're meant to love a father, understanding his ways and why he does what he does. Yeah, I have a couple of lines in here that reference various little things from the intellects or other conversations we've all had in the past. The one I really like is the single thread that can never be cut. Because that thread is understanding, and that is how it relates to the Father's love. Yeah, I do a thing a lot of times where I put a lot of little things into a poem, to where like you're reading it, and you're just like, I don't even know where to start with this. I think I could work a little bit with trying to make things a little simpler, so nobody feel bad if it's difficult to comment on, because I realize I kind of make very full poems, and so it feels very difficult to interject into.
No, it is good. I'm glad we all have a different voice. Because, your poem it's not cyclical beginning or end. It is I don't think the wrong word, so it's blended is what I call it. It's completely pureed into one essence. I can't take a thread and go like, okay, it starts here, flows here, it goes here. This is a emotion.
Thank you. That is how I meant it.
I agree with what Corbin said with it being an emotion, because I feel like that's what's hard for me to comment on, because it's something that's so, like, I couldn't even find the right words to use. But I don't know, it really does touch my heart in such a beautiful way that I just feel like trying to describe it wouldn't do it justice.
Thank you, Ben.
You know, I was left silent at first as well. I needed a moment to like find out what I was saying. I was the opposite of sober, whatever that word is. Yeah, listen, machines.
It's very sadly ironic here that it's illegal.
Yeah.
Like, they can't cut the thread though.
It's the see-through.
It's an object of death, but it's actually splitting
Did
its
you also do can you show people the thumbnail to the song? I just think, no, just that. We can just show you straight from that. This? Yeah, I just think, I really like this little, the cover for the song. Yeah, sure.
He'll be able to sleep. This is why I'm stuck.
So, what in this poem did you say that there were some lines from the song?
That entire bit.
That's what I was
He's
thinking. Because when
very-
you started reading with the song, I was like, wait, she's not singing the same.
Yeah, there are very, like she says, what do I know about love? I changed that to your love.
Okay.
How can I recreate what I've never had is what she says.
Understood.
And then there are some things I say verbatim. She also says the single thread that can never be cut, because there's a similar principle in that. What's cool about the series that this is from is that there actually are a lot of reference to the analects and a lot of the stories from this game, which I really like. Talked about it before. But yeah, a lot. After that music break, pretty much all of those lines are edits of the actual lyrics in the song.
True. Yeah, one of the feelings that I'm gleaning from this poem is definitely sacrifice on the mother's part, but especially in that first section, your section of the poem, there's this acknowledgement on the speaker's part, being the mother, that there's still a lot of pain that the seed has to go through. So it's not like the mother figure is able to protect the seed from that. In fact, it's telling it that there's pain and death and darkness that it does need to go through. But that's also not stopping her. In fact, it's part of her motivation to herself. Live sacrificially and pour herself out for the well-being of the seed. And we're seeing that well-being is not just comfort, and definitely not any kind of spoiling or pleasure, but it's even her sacrifice still in a way brings the seed to a kind of suffering, but the suffering that the seed needs to go through in order to grow and to live and to thrive. And she kind of sets that example through the suffering that she is having to go through. So it's almost as if she's demonstrating through her sacrifice and suffering for the seed a pattern of suffering that the seed itself will have to undergo in a way. But it will still turn out good in the end, because that is what her suffering is meant to produce, is life for the seed. So in a way it kind of foreshadows a similar suffering and sacrifice that the seed itself will undergo at a later stage in
That's
life.
exactly what I mean with darkness was your dirt.
Yeah.
I mean, darkness is pretty easily interpreted as a negative thing, but dirt is necessary for a seed to grow. Suffering was your growth. As you suffer, I think that that produces change in you. And change can be painful, but it is necessary. Bitterness was your shell, as in something to crack through and overcome. Not feeling bitterness towards a difficult life, and death is the birth. I mean, that is, I think, very clear to a process that we all must go through. The seed must die so that the sprout can be born. The seed is a shell.
Yeah.
If it wasn't evident, I'm sure it is, but the character that this is singing about is a mother, and I related that to, I think, the process of sonship, and I think even more specifically, something that all of us have within us, which I think I can speak for myself at least, which is a seed partially planted by my brief interaction with Emmanuel. And I noticed a lot of correlation with this character and my journey with that seed. And it's recent sprouting in my life that I'm beginning to notice. And I think that that's a process each of us go through.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's cool where you say that the seed, at the end of the first part, where you say you grew on, because it's still a seed. So I think a lot of people might think that it wasn't growing because it was a seed, but no, it was growing. It just hadn't started yet.
Thank you for noticing that.
It was a lot.
The seed doesn't sprout to the very end of the poem, but that doesn't mean that it isn't growing.
Yeah.
Not all change is outwardly noticeable. There's so many things that occur within the seed, within the heart, that are not evident until that sprouting takes place. That does not mean that they are not happening. Thank you for noticing that.
Yeah, the sprouting does happen even after the mother has, blood to nurture it and everything. You still don't see results until the very end, about the point where you're at exhaustion. Now it's strong enough to do something or to carry on by itself. Now is your point of rest.
You have shown me that I am capable of caring for someone else, that I still learn the sign in my signs.
Okay.
You can probably squeeze in one more.
I think it'd probably be better to save it.
Okay.
Yeah. How many more people do we have left?
Hands.
Is that 3 or 4?
Isaac has not gone. He's not going to.
5 minutes.
Okay. So you can choose the next person now or next time.
Should I?
It's Isaac. I'm not done.
Yeah. So you can have this week.
Yeah,
We
this
have
week's
a whole
finished.
week then. Let's do a while.
To be fair, finished the poem and then erased it several times now.
All right.
Isaac doesn't look down.
You can hash it out over deep fried.
He has a really good poem. You just can't decide on the ending. I really like it. He's his own worst critic.
Yeah, not my best critic until I get poems better.
Whatever.
My poems are the goodest.
Bestest?
Best
That's
is
his
the
poem.
My poems are the bestest.